Over the past few years, I've developed a fondness for the PS1 aesthetic that smaller projects often pursue, as it evokes not only evident nostalgia, but also a unique ambiance that can only be fully realized in this type of presentation.
Noisy pixel.
Glasshead Dolls' upcoming Soulslike Prison of Husks seems to embrace the strengths this type of collector design choice can imbue, thanks to an unconventional screen resolution and eerie environments that steep into light horror territory. Now, after playing the brief one-area demo, I'm excited to see what this whole project brings to the table, as it has left an impressively favorable impression. Prison of Husks occurs in a depiction of the afterlife known as the Lethos Plateau, although all manner of narrative is more than secondary to what this demo pursues. When starting, you find yourself in a prison cell, quickly evolving into exploring the rest of the collapsing premises. Above all else, Prison of Husks appears to rely on intricate environmental interaction, with select pathways blocked by keys and even breakable objects, including glass, being mandatory for progression. There's no map, so landmarks and such are your sole waypoints, which is an admittedly risky move. Still, this title seems to know what it's doing in that regard, as I never got lost in the opening area, despite how often you circle around it several turns for new key items. But my foremost concern is whether the breakable terrain in future areas will be natural to figure out, or if they'll become frustratingly contrived, since I can see that going either way here. Regarding combat, in typical Souls-like fare, you have a stamina gauge dictating your evasion, sprinting, and general feasibility for attacking. However, part of the distinction is rooted in AP, a numeric resource that acts like a shell, protecting your raw health and potential to stagger. Interestingly, AP isn't a one-and-done asset that only restores at rest points. Instead, it's also replenished when attacking enemies successfully, thereby encouraging players to be more aggressive than they would initially assume they should be. I'm a fan of this design concept since it directly mitigates the tendency to abuse dodging and guarding in blind desperation. Item usage is also worth mentioning, as some of the discoverables can be combined to create new items altogether, such as potent consumables providing regenerative health recovery. Weapons can be affected by this mechanic too, so there are plenty of prospective ways these components can be compellingly multifaceted in their applications. Of course, Prison of Husks' presentation warrants emphasis, as the default 640 by 480 resolution wholeheartedly embraces the game's PS1 inspirations. You can also increase the resolution quality if you want, which affects the clarity of the text, although unless you're having genuine difficulty reading it, I recommend sticking with the lowest resolution choice, as it feels the most natural. While Prison of Husks looks like it's keeping its cards close to its chest, its demo paints a marvelous picture of what to expect from this ambitiously retro-driven Souls-like. Between its consistently ghostly visage and the promising gameplay depth that rewards well-honed belligerence, a fascinating adventure awaits here, one that's already starting to become unmistakable in its stylistic approach. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all of our future content. Now, check out some gameplay.
Voice Pixel.